Thanks for being here. We're going to get started with our webinar. Very excited about this one today. As many of you guys know, we love monthly giving here at For a Good Cause. So we're very excited to have Garrett Kalt on with us today. He's going to talk a lot about his experience. So very excited about that. Feel free in the chat if you want to let us know, who you are, your organization, where you're dialing in from. I'll get us started. I'm in Kennesaw, Georgia. This is going to be recorded, so don't worry about that. I typically get a recording out a day or two after the event, so you'll get emailed that. Be on the lookout for that. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. We hopefully have a lot of fun here today and learn a little bit something. I'm very excited, to be hosting this and having Garrett with us today. I'm going to start by just introducing myself. I'm Ronald Pruitt. I'm the president and founder of For a Good Cause. I've been helping nonprofits raise money online for about 25 years now. My expertise really is in online fundraising, how to make that easy, and and specifically monthly giving and the automation and the tech that kind of goes with that. Our platform, For a Good Cause, we are a fundraising CRM that really specializes in monthly giving. If you're not familiar with us, I'm going to drop a handout on the right, a little one-pager from us. Feel free to download that. Happy to hear from you and take questions on what we do at any time. All right, so we're going to jump right into it. I am going to hand it over to Garrett. Garrett, thanks for being here. Very excited for our audience to learn, from your experience and what you've been doing with your clients, nonprofits in the Northwest to help them grow their recurring revenue. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Ronald. And I am fired up about monthly giving just like you, and hopefully everyone else that's joining us here today. So really excited to be in community with you all. And let's go ahead and get started here. So the first thing, Ronald kicked us off, would love to know who is in the room today, the virtual room. So please continue to share your name, your organization, and also where you're joining from today. I know we have some international folks that are outside of the US, which is really exciting, and people from everywhere. So excited to see where folks are joining from. A bit more about me. My name is Garrett again, but my friends call me G. And I am also a project management professional and a certified fundraising executive. And my wife and I, we own a small business together called People First Communications. And with that, I'm the lead strategist. I am really passionate about housing insecurity and making sure that everyone has a safe and stable place to live. And that's the cause that our organization specializes in. And then also we're really fired up about monthly giving. And just a little bit about my background before People First. In terms of nonprofit work, I served as the director of development for a nonprofit that housed families experiencing homelessness. And when I arrived there, there was no development systems or strategy or anything. And so I built the entire department really. And it's still growing and going further. And that really led me to start People First and to make sure that nonprofits have that good base, good development, good communications, especially those who are addressing housing insecurity. Yes, People First Communications. That's the company that my wife and I run together. And our mission is to amplify the impact of nonprofits addressing housing insecurity, specifically through people-centered storytelling and sustainable fundraising, which monthly giving is a huge part of that. Quickly, here are just the services we offer. We do development coaching. Monthly giving is a specialty there. We help a lot of groups with their year-end fundraisers. And then we also are long-term development and communication support. So kind of just additional contracted staff for some nonprofits that need additional support there. All right, and then here are 6 logos of amazing organizations that we've partnered with to jumpstart, grow, and do all things monthly giving with. So really excited to share some lessons learned through that process and through our expertise within monthly giving. And here is a quote from one of our partners, City of Good in Boise, Idaho. We helped them launch their monthly giving program and help them secure their founding 100 monthly donors in just little under 4 months. So really excited for our partnership there. And we'll be talking about City of Good here in a bit. But just some housekeeping items. Really want this to be more of a conversation and less of a lecture. So please write in the chat. Would love to see your responses throughout the presentation. Please put your questions in there. We'll answer those at the end. And if we're not connected already, would love to do so, and we'll share more information about that. And already want to note, I'm seeing some familiar faces and friends in the chat. So hi, Cindy and Kathy, our friends from Idaho. Thank you for joining. Please do keep that chat alive as we continue. But the first thing, in terms of this being engaging, we're going to launch a poll. I want to know how many people are giving monthly to your organization. So Ronald just launched that. Looks like we have around 9 answers.
Yeah, let's see if we can get to 100%. Come on, guys.
Looks mainly like people are 0 to 50, so just getting started. Some 100 to 200, amazing. And then some folks who don't know. That's also totally fair, and something that we'll talk more about today too. Okay, well, that's just always interesting to know, just in terms of who's in the room. And this presentation is for people who are starting monthly giving, but also growing it. So excited to share. And then also for those folks who already have 100 to 200, you have great knowledge and expertise, and we definitely want to hear from you too. So please write in the chat and share your ideas and all the good things. Second thing is a quick question. So this is your time to write in the chat. I want to know, what is the number one people aren't giving monthly to your organization? So write any ideas that you have in the chat. And hello, Irene, also from Boise and with Leap. Glad that you made it today. Not making it a thing, right? They haven't been asked. From Cindy, awesome. Okay, yeah, keep thinking about it. Please put in the chat. It's all good to think about what others see as like the issue to getting people to give monthly. And the answer to that question will be revealed at the end. So stay on the edge of your seat for that. And just a quick roadmap for what we're covering today. I'll quickly go over why monthly giving is important. I'll talk about what monthly giving programs, keyword here is program, what they are and what they aren't. And then we'll talk about 7 ways to jumpstart your monthly giving program with case study examples. And then we'll leave at least 15 minutes for Q&A. So keep those questions ready, write them in the chat. We'll have a great conversation here at the end today. But let's start with the why. This is a big one. So if you go to For a Good Cause's website, they have an amazing monthly giving toolkit that I highly encourage you all to look at. They have amazing reasons why people should be focusing on monthly giving. And I'll quickly talk about these. Higher revenue, that is how it's the most cost-effective way in terms of raising more funding. But also you have that predictable and reliable income, which is really amazing. You also have great donor retention. So one-time gifts year after year, retention rates are less than 50%, but with monthly giving, they're much, much higher. And so that's a great reason. And then also improve donor engagement. And 2 more things that I would quickly add to this are that it is trending. Like monthly giving is something that folks are talking about, donors expect, and they also like this option. We are living in a subscription economy, so people are used to having those subscriptions. I don't know about you, but I think I have like over 10. So it's a good way to really engage folks and give them the option to support your cause and your mission in that way. And one specific reason that I really want to highlight today is that it's relationship focused. And so monthly giving is a great way to move from transactional fundraising, where you feel like you're going to the bank, you're going to your donors, and you're like really hoping that they will give a gift. And monthly giving gives you the opportunity to really focus on relationship. And it's an opportunity to really create a mission ambassador group if you cultivate it well and have a specific community around your cause, which is an amazing way to move forward and to really leverage the work that your community is doing. And I want to just briefly share a story of a client that we work with, Interfaith Sanctuary, who we'll chat more about today as well. But the photo to the left there, these are members of the front line. You can see them with their white glove. We mobilized monthly supporters to help defeat a bill that essentially was criminalizing homelessness in many ways, and then also limiting shelter availability systems, everything in the state of Idaho. And so this group was used to stop that harmful legislation. And so what I'm really trying to get at here is these are your people who are part of the we work, and they're part of the movement behind your mission, and great people to really lean in on and get to know well and develop that relationship where fundraising is less transactional and more relationship focused. Okay, let's move on to what monthly giving programs are and are not. So another question, please write this in the chat. I want to know, how is monthly giving talked about in your organization? So when you're having conversations with board members, your team, maybe even your supporters, how do they talk about monthly giving? Share the good, the bad, the ugly. I want to hear about what's the word on the street for your organization about monthly giving. Yeah, and great point from Ronald. Do they even talk about it at all? Okay, talked about very little or not at all. Too young, as in like you're a new nonprofit. It's impactful, but not the focal point. Great. Thank you for sharing, and please continue to share. We'll take a look at those and hopefully address some of that stuff here in the next few slides here. So I want to talk about what monthly giving programs are and what they are not. And so what I often hear is, oh, it's just like a checkbox, like it's part of the donation form, like just make sure that folks can also choose to give monthly and then that's it. That is not a program. Of course, you should have monthly as an option when folks donate. But beyond that, you really want to make sure that you're engaging with these supporters intentionally, because again, they are part of that we work and they are part of getting your mission out there to more people. Also, I hear often that it's just small gifts, like they don't really matter. And that goes back to, it is the smartest way to fundraise. And actually you do end up raising more money compared to getting a one-time gift versus 12 smaller monthly gifts. And so I will say to that smaller and larger reoccurring gifts have a really good return on investment. So they do matter. Also, I hear from folks, oh, it's just like too expensive to start. Like this isn't something we can do. Nonprofits like probably already have all the resources they need to make it happen. It's just about chipping away at it. Even like a few hours a week really do go a long way. And that goes to our next one that folks will say it's too time consuming. Again, think about it in terms of the long game and how even just an hour a week can really go a long way if you dedicate it. monthly giving Mondays. That's a great way to block it. Maybe 9 to 10 every Monday or 1 to 2 every Monday. Block off your calendar time to work specifically on monthly giving. And then also we hear often that folks are like, well, it's only for certain types of organizations. That's not true either, in my opinion. It should be tailored to fit your organization, and it's all about how you frame it, which we'll be talking about here in a bit as well too. But also it can fit and work for every organization, especially being we are in the subscription economy. And again, people are used to signing up and giving reoccurring. And then also a big myth that I always try to debunk is that folks think that it deters from larger one-time gifts. It's all about how you engage your audience, and it's also giving them agency of choice. And so I like to remind folks that monthly giving is one way for donors to support your mission. It's not the way for everyone, but it is one way. And for folks who give at certain levels, it could be a better way, but also it is, again, just a really great tool to have in terms of that sustainable and reoccurring income that you can depend upon. So that is a bit more about what monthly giving programs are and are not. Now we're going to jump into ways to grow your program or start your program, and I'll give you some case study examples. This is really the meat of the presentation that I'm really excited to share with you all. So first things first, I think just do the math. I have this image here, it's napkin math, but you can just do it, on a piece of paper. Think about what this impact could have for your organization. So say you're able to get 50 folks to donate, $50 a month or $20 a month or $10 a month. Just play with the numbers and see how much that will give your organization in terms of resources for the month, but also for the year. And then also, For a Good Cause has a really great calculator that you can check out on their website, and this will help you see what monthly giving can make possible for your organization. And one of the greatest things about this is you're not waiting until December and being really anxious and worried and placing all your faith that folks will donate at the end of the year. You can build sustainable revenue that you can count on. And so I would highly recommend that you encourage that and play with the math and look at the possibilities. The second thing is really you need to have a leader, someone who is driving the monthly giving ship. They are assigned to monthly giving. They know that this is a priority. It is probably not their job completely, but it's part of their job. And it's also clearly outlined what the priority is, how they're going about it, and who they are. And so you need someone who is accountable to monthly giving, not just, oh, we're going to try it. Really outline clearly, this is the monthly giving person, and here is what their job is. Andrea, to your left here, she's the monthly giving concierge, if you will, for City of Good, their monthly giving circle. And this is a screenshot I took. They send monthly emails to their supporters, and this is a screenshot I took where it says, if your payment have an issue, if you want to increase or talk about it, Dre is your point of contact. So it clearly says and gives people someone to reach out to if they have an issue or want to upgrade or cancel. You make really clearly who's in charge. And then also, you can't just have one person that's doing this. Fundraising, as I often say, is a team sport. So you'll want to build a team around them and make sure that you provide them with the help that they need to be able to effectively lead your monthly giving program. So let's talk about what that could look like. With another group that we've partnered with, Jesse Tree, we helped them launch the Neighborhood Council. And here's a screenshot of the application process. It was fairly easy. And let me tell you all, this has made waves for their organization. Here's a screenshot of the form that they had. Really simple, your name, tell us a bit more about yourself. Why are you interested in getting involved? Really clear that by joining this group, you're going to help get this program up and running. You're going to help grow this program. Here's what we expect of you in terms of time, in terms of help. And these really turn into junior boards, if you will. Great people to see if they would be interested in joining the board, a great opportunity for younger folks to get involved with your organization. And if you have volunteers and you're like, I'm not quite sure like how to utilize them or to, get them engaged, this is a great way. And I will share that with all the groups that we've helped create a team around the monthly giving program, not only have they seen great results, but we've also always been surprised with how many people are interested in joining. If you share the opportunity to the right people in the right way, I think you would be surprised how many folks are really looking to have a specific thing that they work on in a way that they can specifically volunteer and help your organization at a higher level. So a great opportunity to think about. And here's a screenshot of the City of Good Council that we were able to build with their program. And these are, anywhere from VPs to folks who just care about their mission. And some of these folks have moved on and became staff members. Some of them have become board members. So again, a really great opportunity to grow a pipeline of people who really care about your organization. All right, let's go to tip number 3. This one is important and dare I say fun. Goal setting. So we want to think about, what can I do personally? And then as a team, what are the goals? And then also really, really important here, cannot stress this enough. You want to make it really easy to see the goals. And also you want to create systems where you're reviewing the goals often. So I'll share with you how I did this with a few organizations. We created simple monthly giving dashboards. This dashboard was referred to during different monthly giving specific asks or campaigns, but also it's referred frequently, it's linked frequently. The board has access to it, the staff has access to it. And then also, as you can see, we broke it down into teams. And for this client specifically, there was a friendly competition between board signups and also staff signups and the council signups. So a good thing to think about in terms of how to really get multiple teams involved and engaged, but also have a good visual that you're driving towards. And this is the other side of the dashboard, where each month you create a goal of like, all right, we want to get 12 signups for this month. Where are we at? What's the actual? And really filling that in. And again, this is a bit by bit game, but also there are great opportunities to have more specific times. And so some months your goals might be higher and some months your goals might be lower, depending on what your organization is up to. Another thing I'll share with you here in terms of goal setting, and this is for folks who said they were 0 to 50, is a great way to really get to that 100 is by launching a founding 100. And you can name it something else, but basically coming up with a goal for what you want your monthly giving number to get to, and then cultivate this as a special group. And so this is a screenshot from an email with Jesse Tree, and you can see that they were at 73 donors, and they're encouraging folks like, help us get there. It creates that urgency. And also this founding 100 group had a unique benefit and opportunity to be part of the bottom floor, if you will, and coming in early. And they also were listed on the website and got like smaller other perks that you can make really easy to incentivize people to join early as you're getting things up and running. Okay, tip number 4, you got to choose a platform that works easy. And 3 things that I think about in terms of this are, you really want to make sure that when people are ready to join your monthly giving program or give monthly, that them going online and doing it is really frictionless. And what I mean by that is that it's super easy, it's super clear. They could process all different types of payments. So you really want to make that experience as user-friendly as possible. And our friend at For a Good Cause, they have an amazing platform. I have some screenshots coming your way. And then also Ronald had mentioned earlier, he's happy to share more. And so I do highly encourage you to check that out as a resource. But whatever you choose, make sure that it's really easy for people to join your program by sharing their information online. But also you want to make sure that it's easy to share communications with folks who sign up. And so thinking about the user experience, and once someone signs up, what type of communication do they get? How are you able to track these folks? What does the donor data look like? These are all good questions to ask, because again, this is a special group and you want to cultivate them in special ways. And so you want to make sure that your platforms and your tech are all set up to make that as easy as possible, and also as friendly and as relational as possible. And so just
yeah, Garrett, I mentioned to you before, we actually have a little checklist that can help everyone here kind of look at their donation page that you're talking about. How easy is it? Is it user friendly? Is it optimized for monthly giving? I'm going to drop that handout where people on the right here, people can use that. Just download that. You can use that to audit your existing donation page and see how user friendly you are. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Ronald. Yeah, you all have so many great resources out there. So yeah, please do that. The donation page is huge in terms of making it really easy and clear about what your program is, and then of course that sign up process. A few other things I want to note about For a Good Causes platform is here is a screenshot of what it looks like in terms of their donation form. I love how it specifically says like what the monthly gift will do. And so that's a great thing to be thinking about. And then also, rounding up for those transaction fees, etc. Really go through, pretend like you're joining the program yourself. Also, you should join the program yourself, even if it's only, a few dollars, but test what that experience looks like and what type of communications you can include in that process. Another amazing thing that they do is that if folks choose a one-time gift, they do have a pop-up that you can enable to encourage them to make it monthly. And you can add a little note about that and why it's important to have monthly giving within your organization. And we've seen really great results with our partners who have this enabled, just because it does nudge people towards monthly giving. And there is a movement for nonprofits to be reoccurring first in terms of their fundraising. And so I would encourage you to check that out, but always nudging folks towards monthly, especially with those smaller online donations, is really recommended. I also love this, and I have to say I haven't seen it with any other platform. For a Good Cause makes it really easy to increase donations. And I know we got a question about upgrading gifts, and I'm excited to answer that and talk more about that. But what they have with their platform is a really easy way to reach out to your existing supporters and ask them to upgrade their gift. And so that is just an amazing way to continue to get funding. And maybe, a crisis happens, you're seeing more families than ever need your services, etc. A great opportunity to engage with folks is to, again, increase and upgrade their gift. And this platform makes that really easy. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to tip number 5. And this is a really good one, but I am surprised with how many folks can miss this step in terms of all the excitement of like building the branding and building all the perks and all those things. But the biggest thing I really like to impress upon people is to start with the low-hanging fruit. And so what relationships do you have strong? who can you invite to help, build this program with you, or be the first to join your founding 100, if you will. And then really just look at, what are your current communications and how can you make those minor tweaks? And so for that, I want to share this with you. With City of Good as an engagement menu and commitment form that they complete, which is best practice. I would say every board should have something similar to this, where you're like, hey, if you're a board member, here's what we expect. Also, here's a engagement menu, all the ways that you can get involved. And then also, here are these specific expectations. And as you'll see with that arrow, one of the expectations for all board members is to help secure at least 5 monthly supporters in 2023. I think that's very doable, especially the board themselves. Like if they join, even again, if that's just a few dollars, that really shows that commitment. And one thing that I'll also say here is I would encourage anyone who's asking folks to join the monthly giving program, they should also be part of it themselves. Again, even if that's just a few dollars, just to make sure that they know about the experience and they're also asking folks to do something that they've already done. That is best practice as well. So this is a quick little low-hanging fruit thing. Also, under your ways to give on your website, a good example from Catch is having, join the Key Turners, their monthly giving program. And then also, of course, having it showcased on your homepage. Maybe you have, call this number for our services, have this, have that. But you could have a specific block that is about your monthly giving program and ways for people to join it and become part of it. Another thing is just in terms of, physical donations and folks filling out cards and doing things like that. How can you integrate monthly giving into that with a small tweak? And so this is an example of literally adding a checkbox, but also highlighting that increase your impact by making it monthly. This is giving the language that your organization prefers monthly. And so just those small little tweaks really can go a long way in terms of getting more folks to join your program. So I'm going to pause here, and I'm excited to see the chat with more information and thoughts here. The question is, what low-hanging fruit do you see with your monthly giving? And maybe how do you think you might be able to activate that? So please think about that and put it in the chat. And moving right along, because we want to make sure we have time for questions, really want to encourage you to develop a product mindset. And so thinking about your monthly giving program as this is something that when folks join, they get something in return. Even if that is that good feeling of giving, you really want to steward that. And also would encourage you to think about different incentives, but really be careful about the promises that you make for joining the program, knowing that you can always grow it and that you should be continuously iterating it to better serve not only your organization, but also the donors who are part of it. So here's some examples from Interfaith in terms of productizing. You can see that they clearly outline that $40 a month would be one night of shelter a month. And it really gives that visual of what the funds are used for. And then also I want to showcase these are their benefits that they outline. And I'll share their page with you at the end here, and you can look through it. But something I want to highlight is that the benefits are rather vague. And again, I would encourage you to especially have that as you're getting started out. But they can be very simple in terms of we're going to update you about impact more often. You'll be invited to exclusive things. And also you're joining a network of like-minded people who care about the same thing that you do. An example of this is they invited their monthly supporters after the bill was stopped. They invited them to a concert. They called it the gratitude tour. They thanked them, and they also invited folks to bring their their friends that they wanted to introduce to Interfaith. And that was a great way to also grow their program while thanking people who are already a part of it. And then also the executive director, she hosts Zooms every now and then. And that gives them a great opportunity to share behind the scenes information with their monthly supporters, answer questions, etc., and just become available. And that's a really easy thing, like, hey, hop on a Zoom, I'll give you an update and answer questions. And that can be something that is rather easy to put together. And the last tip is promote, promote, promote. So once you build it out, and as you're building it out, you're getting it out there. And so let's make sure that this is part of your fundraising plan, that you integrate it into what's already happening and not making too much work for yourself. And then also, as the program grows, think about how you can do standalone pushes. So again, one of the biggest things is having a landing page specifically for your monthly giving program. And Ronald shared more information about that in the audit, in the handouts, but that is highly encouraged. I also would share with Interfaith, they included it within their paddle raise in an existing fundraising event, and they were able to get 15 new monthly supporters just by asking folks like, hey, will you join the front line, raise your paddle at that in-person event? And, you know, why is the front line important? So think about all the ways you can incorporate. And then another big one for them is we ran a video, which Ronald will put in the chat here and we'll also share following up. We ran a video ad on social media and we got really great results. So it would highly encourage you to look into social media ads. The return on investment from groups that we've worked with has been really high. And as you can see, is around 12 cents per click of folks going directly to their monthly giving page. And so that's like amazing results in terms of getting folks to see your organization and also consider joining your page. And they got over 4,000 clicks, which was amazing for less than $500. Other things to think about is, of course, the physical ways to promote your event. This is with the neighborhood in a little postcard that they made, a little handout. Again, making it really clear and also really simple. And so it shares the perks, it shares the why, and it has a QR code to go and learn more. There are so many ways to promote, and integration again is huge. With Catch Idaho, they celebrated their 15th anniversary, and during that event, we were asking for 15 people to join the key turners, and we got it. That's a really obtainable goal, and making just again that ask to people and encouraging them to join your monthly giving community. In terms of people, also you want to make sure that you have, of course, the right message around your program and why it's important, but thinking about who the messengers are. And so on the left here is a member, both of these are members of the Key Turners, but the left is a mom, and she just really cares about housing, shared a little bit more about her story. And then on the right, Kenton, he is a local like key messenger. And so think about folks who can really promote and elevate your program and be a good voice for it. And that also brings me to a great opportunity and thing that worked for Catch was we had a former county commissioner write an op-ed about being part of the solution in ending homelessness by joining Catch's monthly giving program. And the op-ed really framed well, like this issue is overwhelming, but by doing this, you're part of the solution, and it's a very tangible way for you to make a difference in the community. Join me, and of course, the fun play on words with 2222 definitely helped, but you can think of creative ways to get the word out there. Giving Tuesday is also a great idea. We've seen more folks do a specific Giving Tuesday reoccurring ask. And then I have a little idea for you all. Maybe for Valentine's Day, it's coming up rather quick, but maybe you could do 14 new monthly supporters this Valentine's Day or something like that. But that's the way I would like your brains to start thinking about monthly giving and how you can just chip away at it. And then, of course, for the groups, thinking about unique ways to bring people together. Catch hosted a happy hour with the key turners and invited them to invite their friends. And they, allowed people to sign up during that event, but it really was a casual meet and greet hangout. And then also showcasing, you can see on their website, they have a founding 500 listing people's names, businesses, etc. You're just consistently chipping away and trying to get the word out there. And I saw this on LinkedIn recently, and I really liked it. But basically, this thought leader was saying, everyone wants reoccurring, everyone wants a good monthly giving program, but folks are hesitant to invest in it. And if you don't invest in it, then you won't see the value. So I want you to be thinking about, how are we prioritize reoccurring giving, and what does that look like for our organization? Knowing that we can build momentum and stability through that. So my question to you as we wrap things up is really think about in the chat, how do you plan to apply these tips and knowledge? You just spent around an hour of your time with us today. We want you to walk away with tangible action items, and I'm really curious to know what you're hoping to put into place. So if you could share that in the chat, that would be amazing.
Garrett, I really love this Monday's idea. Monthly Giving Monday.
Monday.
I
Yeah.
really love that. I'm curious about that. What would be an example of something that somebody would tackle in that 1 to 2 hours a week? And would that be that leader that you talked about being chosen by the organization to lead the effort?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think one of the biggest things is that leader who's in charge of monthly giving, dedicating that hour or few hours to looking at the dashboard and seeing, okay, who signed up? Did we have any credit cards that got declined? Do I need to call anyone to, update their card? And then also, if your retention plan or your relationship plan includes, we want to send a text every quarter, that would be a good time to send a text and just a thank you, or work on an impact email that you send to the group that's like, hey, like your month, if we're able to do this, that type of thing. But again, it really is blocking out that time to build relationship, and then also to make sure that your monthly giving program is a well-oiled machine in terms of following up with the commitments that you set forth.
Yeah, I love that. It looks like in the chat, we've got some folks that have got some great ideas here to implement.
Amazing. Great. Yes. Keep those coming. And with that, like, where do we start? I know coming to training sometimes can be overwhelming. So wanted to give you some ideas of where to start. And so first of all, I think build excitement. Fundraising is such a team sport, as I mentioned, but also it's really about mindsets. And if you bring positivity and excitement to growing your monthly giving program, starting it, that really does make a difference. And yes, do send this to your board and team. I see Cindy saying that she's going to review it with some folks. That's great. Do share it. You'll get emails and all the things, forward it on, do get it out there to folks, see who's interested in helping. And then also, again, meet with those people, do the math, set some goals, and then look about how you're inviting people to give monthly currently and some minor adjustments you can make. And then with that team, perhaps create an action plan. And again, you can start small and just chip away at this with a few hours a week. And don't dream too big too quick. Really, start to chip away at it and plant the seeds. And that brings me to this quote that I really like. That is, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. And the story here is this Amnesty International. I became a monthly donor in 2022, and I did the quick math, and I've given around $500 to the org since then. And that is something that I wouldn't have been able to do a one-time gift for. But me as a monthly donor, I get emails from them. And also in terms of human rights worldwide, this is my way of enacting my values by supporting this organization. And so again, the best time was before, but also the second best time is today. So thinking about how you can start growing that and have those folks join your community. Just a few more slides here. I promise to reveal the number one reason why people aren't giving to your organization. And Cindy, I'm excited to share that you had the correct answer. You're simply not asking. And the longer version of that is that you're not asking the right people at the right time in the right way. People want to help you. This might not be the best way for them to engage with your organization, but again, it is the way or a way. And then timing, of course, is a thing. If people say no, that's not right now. And then also making sure that it's the right folks that you're engaging with and inviting them to join your monthly giving program.
Garrett,
And with that,
yeah, amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. I know that you had a couple of worksheets that you wanted to share with folks. Is that correct? And this, you want to kind of, I'm going to drop these on the right as handouts. And if you want to describe what they are, and people can download those, and they can be, I assume it's something that they can use as they put together this action plan, correct?
yeah, for sure. So once you share this with your team, get folks excited about monthly giving with you, these could be good tools and conversation starters. So the first one is creating your product, which I'm not a huge fan of the word product. Maybe someone has a good suggestion for something else. But basically,
I like it.
yeah, it's like
like
once you join, like what does this all entail, and like what are we committed to doing? And
Yeah.
again, really starting small, but also creating that visual of like this is how we're going to cultivate our relationship and like your gift and how it's going to be used. And that second one answers just that, like when you join the program, here's what we promise to you in terms of like your commitment to us. And then also there's space there to add those additional incentives. An example that was shared today was that quarterly Zoom call for monthly supporters. That's with the executive director, and it's just a quick behind the curtain, like here's what's going on, here's how you can help, what questions do you have? So thinking about those additional incentives and how they might not only be helpful for folks to join your program, but also a great relationship tool to keep them engaged with your mission.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's get to some questions. I see, Irene, you're asking, can these handouts be emailed as a follow-up in the slides? I'm sure, Garrett, you're happy to reshare this stuff. Absolutely. We did have some questions during the registration process, and they were, very thoughtful type stuff. So I want to hit some of those. We had a question from Christine. They were saying that they have been stagnant at 100 monthly donors for the past 3 years, maybe get 3 or 4 new donors with appeals, but they lose a couple through the year. So they're just kind of stuck. Let's say you're not at the starting point, but you've hit a ceiling, you've hit some sort of roadblock, you're stuck at 100. What would you do to jumpstart and get them to a new level?
Yeah, great question. With limited information, I would recommend really looking at how you're asking and what's incorporated within that, and the current ways that you're recruiting folks to join your program. And again, thinking about those small tweaks that could result in big impact. And then also, I would maybe, gather a group, whether that's volunteers or members of your team, your board, etc. Bring people together, and again, have that leader, but bring them together and share with them exactly what you shared. We've been stagnant at 100. We want to get to 200. What's our path to get there? Here are some ideas that I have. What ideas do you have? And really creating an environment of this is something we're doing together. Another thing that I've seen be really successful is you could ask folks who are reoccurring, like why they are, and then also invite them to be part of that conversation of, hey, we want to grow this. Do you want to grow it with us? Like, do you have ideas as someone who's been part of this? And so bringing those people in can be a really big help too. And then I would just say, one of the biggest things is really making sure that you have a good ask and that this can be a specific standalone campaign too. If you're already at that 100 mark, instead of a one-time gift ask, an example could be, Valentine's Day, say your organization's used to sending an email to support your organization, then instead of it being one time, just try it monthly and see what the difference is. And remember that if you get one person to join, that's 12 gifts. And that's a good way to do the math and kind of formulate that type of thing. But would highly encourage standalone pushes for folks to join your monthly giving program, where it's not also you can, but it's like, this is specifically what we want you to do. This is time bound. We want 20 people by the end of this time, and this is why this matters, and this is what we will be able to do with you.
Yeah, I love that. I love the idea of having that be supporter led, leaning on them. They are in this program. They want us to succeed. And I see in the chat, Christine said they did have one of their monthly donors as the sort of the lead on an appeal. Got 5 signups over 3 weeks. That's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. Another question we have here from Suzanne: what makes someone decide to give monthly? Kind of what psychology are we appealing to? We've written about this on our blog. It could be a lot of different things. There's obviously the convenience and the budgeting and things that really fit with young donors and folks that need to give that way. But there's also the wanting that lasting impact. I'm curious, what do you see from your nonprofits in terms of what type of folks are signing up and what motivates them the most?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great question. I think the biggest thing is what motivates them most is they want to make a difference with you. They care about your mission and they want to make a difference with you. And so monthly giving is a great way for them to do that. And you can outline all the logical things. But what I often walk through clients with is thinking about the 3 different, they're called like modes of persuasion. Aristotle, this goes far back. But think about, the logistical, like the budgeting, the etc. And then also think about the emotional. Folks want to be part of a community. They want to be part of something more. They want to leave a legacy. They want to be, listened and heard, and they want to do good. And then also the credibility side. And that's really where, like, your nonprofit sharing, this is the impact we have generally, and this is the impact we have with this group specifically. And also thinking about, who are respected voices, community leaders, etc., who could and should be part of your monthly giving program, who can also bring some credibility to it. People like to be part of groups that are doing great things with cool people. So that's what I would encourage you. Make your group fun and make it a group of really cool people doing cool things.
Yeah, I like what you said, with you. They want to be with you. Yeah, they want to be part of something bigger than themselves. And yeah, the more fun you can make that, the better. Another question here that we got, let's see. A question from Nicole. She said they're brand new, building a brand new program, and just have a few, monthly givers. How would you engage those early folks to help grow your program?
Yeah, good question. I think as soon as someone signs up, and something I would encourage you to think about at the start as you're growing it, or even starting it, is what does the the donor experience look like? So when someone signs up, for example, with one of our clients, Interfaith, the executive director sends them a personalized email. They of course get the automated one, but remember that the automated stuff like isn't enough, especially in 2026. People are looking to like interface with humans more. And so having that personalized approach, and then because they're, the first ones, they're starting, I think a phone call is great just to say, hey, like, we saw that you did this, like, thank you so much. And also, like, as a group that's looking to grow our reoccurring supporters, like, I'm curious, like, what motivated you to join our program or to give monthly? And then just have a conversation, like, see these folks as friends that you have yet to meet or build a relationship with. These are people who are in line with the work that you're doing, and get to know them. And it's not always about, how you can get them to support your organization. It's building that relationship. And so maybe these early adopters too would be excited to volunteer to help you get the program out there. They would be excited to maybe share with groups that they're a part of, etc. I think just include them in the conversation around wanting to grow your program.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like the concept of the conversations with them. One thing that can come out of that is a really nice testimonial, just like you showed earlier for one of your clients. If you have those testimonials, that powers your marketing to go out and get more monthly givers, because if they see someone cool is in there that thinks the same way they do, they're going to be more inclined to join this program. So absolutely, that's great. Question from Valerie. How can you take a small team with no marketing experience, no budget, and get up and running? To me, that sounds like, well, if I don't have a lot of resources, what would you do first? Is it that low hanging fruit, or maybe what would you take maybe right past that low hanging fruit?
Yeah, great question. Unfortunately, a lot of nonprofits are in this position. I would talk with the board and talk with leadership about monthly giving, and talk about how might we want to, one, invest in it, but how can we get it off the ground with where we're at now. And that might look like the board themselves being the first folks to join. It might look like them inviting members that they think would like to join. Really thinking about how can you do high return activities that will lead to getting more folks signed up. So yeah, you don't have to have a huge budget. You don't have to have a lot of time. Again, it's chipping away. If it's something that you're really wanting to grow really quickly, where like the resources and the dedicated people and time come in. But again, it's something where you could say, hey, every month I'm going for 5 people. And that looks like I'm going to be out in the community. I'm going to be calling folks on our donor list. I'll send an email, etc. Just coming up with what is feasible for your organization with the resources you have, and then slowly chipping away. And as you build momentum, making sure that you have good systems in place to keep it.
Sure, absolutely. I know we're hitting the top of the hour. I really just have maybe a couple questions. If you can stick around for a couple minutes here and let me kind of rapid fire these to you. There was a question from Irene. How do we frame our monthly giving program content? How do we communicate to that a small monthly amount is going to make a vital impact?
Yeah, that is a great question, and one that I get often. If you are an organization, which Irene is someone I recently met, so I know their LEAP, and they help provide housing and developing housing for folks. And it's different than, of course, like a shelter or like meals. And so there isn't necessarily that small donation amount that like translates to a direct thing that
Right.
people can visualize.
Mm-hmm.
And so for these groups, what I really encourage them to do is think about how you can frame it in terms of sustainability and in terms of them being the foundation for your fundraising efforts for your cause. And also focusing on this group like is special and like will receive more information and more behind the scenes stuff that are like part of our mission. And so oftentimes too, these groups, they rely on like larger donations rather than a lot of smaller ones. And so it is an opportunity to really engage those larger donors in the conversation of, hey, we know you give, for example, $10,000 a year. Would you be interested in doing $1,000 a month? Like, here's like why I would encourage you to do that. So there's like that piece, and then also if you do the math, that's 2,000 more that you would get per year. But I would frame it as like you are being part of the solution. You like we can rely on these funds and plan accordingly. And because we have this monthly support, we're able to make a bigger impact because we're spending less time fundraising and like hoping that money will come in and more time like doing the work itself. And that it's a great way for you to be in community with us. Oh, I think you're muted, Ronald. Sorry.
Sorry about that. Last question. It's kind of a combo question from a couple of people. They're really asking about, am I targeting for brand new donors to go monthly, or am I converting one-time donors into monthly? Do you have any thoughts about either way to go or ways to tackle that? I certainly like a combination of both. Be recurring first, but you're going to have people to give one time. And if you have something in place that you can work on converting them, I think that's very, very valuable. What do you say?
Absolutely. And Ronald, I think you should answer this after I do, because you're an expert in this too. One thing that I like to share with folks when we're talking about monthly giving as well is that I see it as a cliff. And so a one-time gift, the leap that donors make is rather small. They're making a one-time investment. With monthly, it's a farther jump. They're really, trusting and joining, and they're, being part of it every month. And so there is a larger leap that people take. And so what I always encourage is that mixed method approach, right? So start with your strong relationships, whether that's existing donors, board members, etc., as you're getting your program out, because that cliff will be, shorter. And then when you have a greater collective, when you already have your founding 100, that cliff actually gets shorter inherently because there is that community will and that ethos behind it. You have the program more fleshed out. And so do a combination, like always have the option for folks to give monthly. And if you're bold enough, have that be like the reoccurring first option first. But also really look at folks who are already giving to your organization and think about different conversion campaigns you can do. I would encourage specifically with folks to start off who are giving at the lower level and maybe even up to like 10,000 to encourage them in a conversation of, hey, like we really appreciate your support in the past. We just started this program where we'd like to grow our program. Would you consider this as an option for supporting our organization? That is a great way to start. And then also I would highly encourage you for any folks who give one time to your organization. It's all about cultivation and stewardship. Like these folks need to be thanked and called, etc. And once they have been and you have properly thanked them, the next step in my mind is to invite them to further their impact by joining your monthly giving program. And so think about how one time is a pipeline also to getting folks to be part of the we work and part of your monthly giving.
I totally agree. Totally agree. I'm gonna drop something in the chat here. We actually I did a whole webinar on conversion one time to monthly, and it really is about a thank you, demonstrate the impact they've already made with the one-time gift, show that there's other people in this great community that you might want to be a part of making a longer impact, and then the invitation to come along this long-term journey. Garrett, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to drop a little link here. If people are interested in getting in touch with you, they can click this and fill out your form. I certainly recommend you to anybody that I would come across. You guys have done amazing work on the ground. I mean, real results, hundreds of monthly givers with programs. So I really appreciate you being here, sharing this expertise. I will get this replay out, hopefully in the next couple of days to everybody. Both myself and Garrett will be sending kind of email follow-ups with additional resources and all that. Thank you for taking the time to be here. Thanks for what you're doing in your community. And we will see you at the next For Good Cause webinar, we hope. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
See you later.